Hello everyone, it's Rayna. It's been a month, more or less, that we have been staying at home because of the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on around the world. And of course, we're doing this because we want to protect ourselves. We want to avoid contracting the virus and we want to avoid contaminating our family members, our friends, and we really want to stop the spread of the virus, really. And all of this is because we are taking care of our physical health, and it is very important to us, of course. But what is also important for us is our mental health. Now, I have created a previous video about our mental health during the epidemic. I will try to link it somewhere in the corners. It will definitely be down below in the description box. The social distancing we are experiencing right now is creating stress. It is really generating stress to a lot of people because, first of all, we can't really visit our family members, our friends, we can't go out, we can't really live our lives as we used to. We need to transform our rhythm of life to a new rhythm of life, temporarily, of course. And as well, some of us are losing their jobs and their income. For me, I'm from the lucky ones that can work at home, and this is good. But a lot of people are losing their jobs and really they're losing their income, which is generating stress and this fear of probably what am I going to do? Probably I'm going to lose my income. All this stress can trigger mental health issues that we are experiencing or that we weren't experiencing before. And one of those issues we might be facing with this confinement is the eating disorder. Of course, eating disorder can appear at any time, but during the epidemic, it can amplify. Now, I want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm not a specialist, and before we continue, I would like to give you the definition of the eating disorder according to the NHS. It is when you have an unhealthy attitude to food, which can take over your life and make you ill. It can involve eating too much or too little, or becoming obsessed with your weight and body shape. The most common eating disorders are anorexia nervosa, when you try to keep your weight as low as possible by not eating enough food, exercising too much, or both. It can also be bulimia, which is when you sometimes lose control and eat a lot of food in a very short amount of time, which is also called binging. And you are deliberately sick afterwards, you use laxatives, restrict what you eat, or do too much exercise to stop getting weight. And it can also be binge eating disorder, which is when you regularly lose control of your eating. You eat large portions of food all at once until you feel uncomfortably full and are then often upset or guilty. Now, this is me. And it can be other specified feeding or eating disorders when your symptoms do not exactly match those of anorexia, bulimia, or binge eating disorder, but that doesn't mean it isn't a serious illness. Now, as I mentioned, I have been experiencing eating disorders as I have been experiencing a lot of mental health issues in the past. I've had depression, I've had anxiety, panic attacks, but all this might probably be a subject to another video. Right now I want to focus on the eating disorder because I'm still struggling with it. I have had therapy, but I'm still struggling with some eating disorders, especially binge eating. Now, I have explained what is a eating disorder, but why does it appear, really? The first reason is that we lack something. Often we lack maybe support, we lack to be understood by people. It can be really anything. We lack maybe love from our friends and family members or from our partner. It can be really anything, a lack of something. And when you lack something, people with eating disorders try to compensate or overcompensate by either eating too much or not enough. And that is a short-term reward, really. You feel in control of yourself, of the situation, and when you eat your emotions or when you prevent yourself from eating, this is when you feel empowered and in control, because what you're lacking, you can't control it really. And this is what I have been doing. I have been literally eating my emotions, and when I feel down or very, very low or powerless, this is when I know I shouldn't be, but I start overeating. And this is something that we really need to be aware of. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, when we are staying at home, probably working from home or not, this is where also boredom kicks in. And for the people like me that tend to overeat, you start eating out of boredom, really. And this also isn't something that is healthy for you. And this is also why I want to talk to you about this eating disorder problem. Now, what can we do when we have those issues? Because this isn't a food issue. This is really a behavioral issue. This is really a mental health issue. First of all, we need to acknowledge it. It is okay not to feel okay. Acknowledge that you're bored. And if you are, don't grab that junk food in the fridge or somewhere in the cupboard. Don't eat something because you're bored. Acknowledge what you feel. If you are lacking something, acknowledge that lack and acknowledge how you feel, and try to avoid compensating those emotions through food or through preventing yourself from eating, because I haven't experienced the other side of the eating disorder, but I believe that maybe people who eat too little and try to control their weight the other way around, also it's a symptom of lack, maybe of something. Then when you acknowledge it, you can seek help and support from your friends and family members. Sometimes they won't understand, and then you really have to talk openly and try to explain your situation, and maybe surround yourself by people who really care about you and are there to understand. It might take time. For my mother, for example, it took some time to understand what I'm going through in order for her to give me the proper support I need. Now, my boyfriend is here with me, and I'm lucky to have him because he's giving me that support. And when I'm losing control, he's there to control me. And I'm grateful, and I've told him, please do control me when I start overeating. Please do control me. And this is something you can also ask your closest family members and friends to really help you and be there for you. And this might not be enough, and you might really need to seek some professional support, help from a psychotherapist. And I've done that as well, and it's really helping, guys. Really, I didn't believe that at first, but really seek the professional help you need when you feel mental health issues and mental and emotional discomfort. Now, as I said, I'm not a specialist on the subject. I'm not a therapist. I am just someone who have had those issues, and I'm still struggling with eating disorder and with other mental health issues. Although I've had therapy and I've a lot better than I was 2 to 3 years ago. If you have experienced eating disorders, leave me a comment down below. If you are a specialist or if you want to add something to the subject, please let me know in the comments. It will be helpful for everyone who would be watching this video, and for me as well. And let's help each other during those difficult times. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video, and don't hesitate to share it around people who might need to hear this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I might be posting, I'm thinking about posting new videos about mental health. And until then, take care of yourselves both physically and mentally.